Good morning everyone, it's Behzad here again from Untitled Coder. Welcome back to another video of how to build up a login app using Android Studio in Java language. In the last video we left off from here. We created a method which led the new user to register to our app. Then we came down here, we sent a verification email to the new user to make sure they're receiving and they are a legitimate user to log into our app. Then we execute the reg button, and then here we check the credential details. In today's video we are going to set up our login email on XML. Then we need to check the user credential as they are going to log into our app. And the last one, we are going to check the email verification status. What is that means? That means we need to check if the user already verified the email addresses that led them to log into our app. So go to your project. I've already opened them. I just want to go through with you. Go to your login page. Then we need a resource from ourselves. Come down to layout. Login page is already open. And you got just login page is here. Here I've already set up my login page, but I will delete it and I will go through with you so you don't confuse yourself. And that's delete, and that's delete. You should have something similar to this. So what I've done here, I gave this edit text an ID. I set up the width to the parent with a 20 dp of our padding around. Then we gave a height, the hint that let the user know what we want from this section, and what the input is a text email address. The gravity, this layout, it will be in the center of our parent layout. Then the margin top is 150 from here to top. So what I'm doing is I will copy here this edit text, come down, paste it here. So just copy it, paste it. We check the ID to password. That is fine, that is fine. Just change the hint, password. Input top will be password, and margin top, it will be this margin from this edit text to this edit text. I'll reduce it to 30. So email and password are ready. Then come down below your password. We need a button. That button, what it does, it will be match parent, the width, and the height will be 50 dp / we need to give an ID to it. User login button, margin top will be 50. So this is a 50 from our password section. Then it will be give a text to let the user know what it does. Just log in and pretty much set up. Now here we use this link to move on to our register page. We need one more link to transfer the user who forgot their password. What I do is I'll copy the text view here, come above, paste it, and I will change here to user forgot password link. I'll change it here. So what it does, everything is fine apart from the text. We need to tell what this text is going to do. Forgot your password. Click here. If the user clicks on this text, it will transfer them to the forgot password page. They say email password, login email, if they forgot the password, if they are new to our app. Just go to your login. As you remember, we left off from here. We created our bending view. We assigned this our content view to our bending view, and then we execute this code, which is the one who goes to our register page. So come up above your login page. We need a tag, LOGT. So what a tag does, we use it for our debugger. So then what else we need? Above inside your onCreate method, now we need to execute our code that transfer user to forgot password. We need our login bending view dot forgot password link dot set on click listener because it should execute something. Then you put a new on on click, just the toppest one, tab, and it will execute the code. Then we need an intent, start activity, intent, make sure you use the right one, tab, new intent. We need to get an object from our intent. We are in our login page, is here. Where we go, forgot password page we already created, forgot password page dot class. This link execute this code, transfer the user from login page to forgot password page. So we minimize our onCreate. We need one method to check the credential which the user is going to put in. Validate user login details. Explanation of our method, what is going to run. It runs inside execute login button. We need a private void validate user details, and here copy your comment, create your container. So our method is create as a container. Here we need to give two parameters to this method. What parameters do we need? As you see, we have email and password, so we are going to accept strings for email and our password. That's why we need to give two parameters to this method. Whenever this method is going to be used, we have to assign two variables as a string to it. So come down to string email, comma, string password. Coming down, we need a debugger, user login details has been validated. It shows a message to us. We know this method has been used and running successfully. Similar to our register page, we have to get text from these two edit texts and convert them to a string. Just a string email login, email equals to our login page bending view dot, what are we getting? We're getting the user email dot set get text, and convert it to a string. Coming down, we do not trim it here because already we used the trim in our register button or validating method that already does all the job for us. And now here we just need to retrieve this email, login email, and execute it and compare it to the one it's already on our database. So we need another string login password equals to our login bending view here dot get user login password dot get text to string, and cut it off here. So where is this user and login email passwords that came from? They came from our login page, which we gave ID for our edit texts. They're not new. It will just cut it off the underscore and connect them to each other. Here we need an else if loop condition. What it does, we need to check if this section email and password in our register page are empty or not. If they are empty, we do something. If they're not empty, we do something else. Write down if else. Come to if section, we need to check first if they are empty or no. Login email that is empty, or login password is empty. If they are empty, we show a message as a toast to the user. Please enter your details. If that is not true, that means something has been entered as an email and password. Then what we do, we need to check those login and email that a user puts on and compare them with our Firebase database or our Firebase authentication. So we need a Firebase to be able to log in. So we do not have it here. Come above your onCreate, below your login bending view, private, capital F, Firebase, auth, with a small f and semicolon. Then on create, below your set content view, we need to get an instance from our main class here. Firebase auth dot Firebase with a capital F dot get instance semicolon. We just assign it in our onCreate. Minimize your onCreate. Come down to your else. Small f dot sign in with email and password. So where is this email and password are coming from? There are two strings, and we use these two to be able to log in. Email, password, dot add on complete listener, because we need to return something to the user, and we, as a developer, we need to check what happened. New incomplete listener. Here, semicolon, finish off our stuff. Here, it is a task. So now we need to check if this task has been successful or no. If it has been successful, we'll return something. If it hasn't, then we do something. Come down to your under your public incomplete, if and else here. So we need to check this task has been successful. That is successful. If has been successful, what we do? We check in the email verification. We do not have our check-in email verification yet. As you see, I wrote it down as a comment and I will create it in a second. So if the task is not successful, what does that mean? We show a toast message. We check either the user or email or password are not matching with what the user already registered, or the user doesn't have any account, and that means they have to create an account. So email or password doesn't match. That is the first scenario. Or you do not have an account. It will handle three situations. Either email is wrong or password is wrong, or these two are not matching with what they've registered to our app as a register page, or they do not have any account. Come down below our validate user method. Now we need to check the email verification. As you know, the name is checking email verification status. Where it runs inside, copy the name, drop it down here, password. It is a private, it is a void, doesn't have any return, just execute the codes and copy the name and put it here, then curly brackets down. So I'll cut off our comment. All good. Copy your comment and creating your comment. So our container is ready. So we need a debugger. Email verification status has been checked. How are we going to check email verification status? Firebase has a subclass of our Firebase auth as a Firebase user. We need to get an instance from our Firebase user and to check if the user already verified the email address or no. So you write it down in Firebase user with a capital F. We give a name to this class. We'll put it as a small f equals to. It will get an instance from the Firebase auth, which is the one here, dot get current user. Why do we use Firebase user? Because the Firebase user is the only class which has a functionality to check the email verification status. We come down, we create a boolean with a capital B, then we put it as a status. This is the variable's name. Firebase user dot is email verified. So why do we use Firebase? Because the Firebase auth doesn't have any functionality to checking as an email verification. I will show you. Firebase auth dot is email verified. See, it doesn't have any functionality to check email verification. That's why we need to use our Firebase user. So I'll write down a comment here. Always it helps me to remember what I've done. So just write down a comment. We got a comment here which it says if verified, that means true. The return for this boolean is true, else is false. Come down. We need another if else loop condition. We need to check if the value or the return for this boolean is true or false. If it's true, it does something. If it's false, it does something else. Write down if else. Coming down here, just put it down as a status variable here. If the return is true, which is here, if it's verified is true, then we need to start activity as an intent, new intent from login page dot this to welcome page class. Where welcome page came from? It comes from this class which we have created from our first video. Minimize the project. So in an else loop condition, we check if the return for this boolean is false. What we showed to user, you need to verify your email. This is done. We minimize it. Coming down, we need one more method. The method which whenever a user clicks on a login button, it has to execute. As you know the name, execute login button. It runs inside onCreate. Is a private, it is a void, and we copy the name from our button here so we know where it has been used, and semicolon, create your container, a debugger, login button executed. Here what we need to check. First we need to execute this code. Login button, login pending view dot the button here, use a login button dot set onClick listener, new onClick listener, and whenever the user clicks on it, what we need to do, we need to run this validate user details inside it to check if this is correct or no. Write down our validate user details and semicolon. We are facing an error because we have two parameters to assign to this value. We have two options. The option one is creating this email and password inside this method, or creating two variables here as a string and then assign a value to them. What do I mean by that? Write down a string. It will be user email equals to, write it down, then I will explain what I've done. Login pending, get text to a string and semicolon, another string, user password equals to login binding dot get password, password dot get text to string, semicolon. So these two lines of code, these two strings are similar to here, but we cannot use these two variables because they are inside a method, and that method is private. That means we do not have any access to these two strings here. That's why I have to assign another two string inside this execute reg button method to be able to get a value from them. So you just write down user email and user password. To clarify how we cannot use them, just expand to validate, copy this name and paste it inside our execute reg button. As you see, it shows error. The main reason is because this is an internal variable and we cannot use it. So just copy back your email and done. Minimize it, and we need to run this method inside our onCreate. Expand your onCreate method. Below your new user link, come down and just write down execute reg button and all set. Minimize and run our app. By the time we're running our app, we're just going to recap what we have done. We created a method to check the user email and password. So what we've done, we've created two string variables to check, to assign the user email and password to it. In the first section, we checked if these variables are empty. If they are empty, we tell the user what to do. If they are not empty, that means the user already put something in it. Then came down, we used our Firebase class to sign in with email and password, and we getting the email and password from our parameters and assume these two are email and password that the user already registered to our app. Firebase gets these two parameters from here and will compare them to the data which they have already on our Firebase. That means this is a task. We add an onComplete listener to it. We're checking the task is successful. If it is successful, that means this email and password are already registered to our Firebase. And we checking the next step, we are going to check if the user who already have an email and password to our Firebase has already verified their email address or no. That it increases the security of your app and doesn't let the spam user to log into your app. If these two doesn't exist, it comes up to three situations. Either the email and password doesn't match, or the user doesn't have any account to our Firebase. That's why we're showing this message to them to go and create an account. We minimize here. In our checking verification email, we're getting an instance from our Firebase, and we assign it to our, we're getting an instance, or that means the current user from our Firebase auth, and we have a boolean here. Why a boolean? Because we'll return a value to these variables. We gave a name to it, and we're getting an instance from the object that we created from our Firebase class, and we're checking if the email is verified or no. If it's been verified, that means it returns true, otherwise it's false. We use these variables in our if-else loop condition. If the status or the situation of the email verification is true, then we send the user to welcome page. If it's not true, that means the user hasn't already verified the email. That's why we're showing a toast message to them to go and verify your email address. So all of these two methods are related to each other, these two. And we are coming to our execute reg button. Whenever the user clicks on our login button, that means we need to run the top method or validate user method that already included this check email verification method. We're getting, it needs two parameters. We created two parameters here and we assign them inside, and whenever the user clicks on register button, then the app is going to check this method and returns a value for it. Our app is ready. We're going to check it to see everything's working fine. The first part is you just click on login. The fields are empty. We just let the user know they have to create an account. Then I'll give a random email, 123, and click login. And here you say email or password doesn't match, or you do not have an account. Why? Because these two variables, email and password, doesn't exist on our Firebase. Click one more time on login, and email and password doesn't match, or you do not have an account. Yesterday I created an account, but I haven't verified my email address. That means I cannot log into app for now. But if you already created an account or verify your email address, you should be okay to log into your app, and it will transfer you from this page to our welcome page. If you do have any questions, please let me know or write a comment, and I'll respond them as soon as I can. Other than that, I will see you all in next video. Thanks for your time and watching. See you later.